Welcome to our quick demonstration of masking exception requests. So before I dive into the demo and the workflow of how you do these exception requests to masking policies, just want to show the masking policy in question that we're going to talk about today. So we've got this masking policy that's masking names, emails, and gender. I'm not going to get into too much of how this works, but I'm just pointing out that Immuta masking policies can propagate out to all your data platforms based on how those columns are tagged. So we've got this policy. I just happen to be querying a table that it applies to in Snowflake with this user Lily, this Immuta customers table. Obviously, this isn't a real customer table, but you'll see first name, last name, email, and gender are all redacted using that policy. So one thing I'll point out is you can add exceptions to these policies. Like if the person's taking security awareness training, then they're allowed to see these columns in the clear. So clearly, Lily has not taken that training. She's not seeing these 4 columns. So now let's go do an exception request for Lily to see some of these columns. So what we've added in our user interface is a new columns tab in this data product object. So the first thing I'll point out though is that Lily does not actually have access to this data product yet. You notice the request access button is live here. She does have access to 2 of these tables out of the 4. If she requested access and was approved, she'd have access to all 4. The reason I'm doing this is just to show you that if Lily already has access to a table through some other means, she can do masking exception requests without having access to the data product. Okay, so I'm going to go to the columns here. If you remember, we've been talking about this Immuta customers table. So we can look at this Immuta customers table. We can see those columns there, and we can see which ones are masked, and obviously you can see the tags on them as well. So this button is the new capability. So I'm going to have Lily request a masking exception. And if you remember, we wanted to look at this customers table. So let's just do gender and email. We need those 2 exceptions to those 2 masking policies. So I hit next here. I can request, this part of the flow is exactly the same as requesting access to a data product. You can customize these request forms, of course. Obviously, we show the columns now instead of the data sources in the data product for this kind of request. Again, you can see the tags, what I requested. I can request for myself or on behalf of someone else. This all works the same. And of course, you can customize these forms. So yes, we're very, very excited about masking exception requests. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this request. So now someone that can actually approve this request, I'm going to log out and log in with those people, gets a notification. After getting that notification, they'd log in to the marketplace here and they'd see Lily's request to have these 2 columns unmasked, which I'll show you here in a second. Here's Lily's request. We can see her answer to the question. We can see the columns she requested. I think importantly, we are showing the tags in these columns. This is critical to the person making the decision. Do I really want Lily to see data tagged this way? So of course, these tags could be how you classify your data or its sensitivity level, for example. And so that could be part of the consideration. And we can pull these tags in from your catalogs or, your data platform itself. You don't have to create these tags in Immuta for them to work. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue to a determination. I'm going to temporarily approve this and say, this is highly sensitive, short access, period. And I'm going to say that Lily gets this for 5 days, let's say. So when these 5 days are up, Immuta will automatically revoke this masking exception. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this determination. So now Lily will have access. One thing I want to point out is that Lily's access is going to be for the specific tables in that data product. So if we go back here, the access she has is only for those specific columns that we talked about on that specific data source. So it's not actually giving her access beyond the scope of what she requested, which is a big deal. So we're very surgically giving her an exception to these masking policies. So if we come back here to the table and click this, she's going to see email and gender in the clear now. So we updated. So attributes on the user and tags on the data, and the policy reacted to that and gave her access or made her exception to that masking policy. The other thing I want to point out is you could link these masking exception requests from your own catalog. So if I come here to this columns tag, we have this request exception link. So we can copy this link and use it in other places to request access. I actually set this up in Atlan. You can see, if I come here to the gender column in Atlan and click on this request masking exception here, that'll jump me out to Immuta to do that same masking exception request. So you could do it from your catalogs as well. So hopefully this was helpful in understanding the feature. This is the initial release of this feature. We intend to add some more capabilities to it soon, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this demo. And if you're interested or want to provide feedback, please reach out. Thanks.